Catherine sat with Liberty in the quiet VIP room, the warmth of the tea between them contrasting sharply with the heaviness of their conversation. She spoke honestly about her uncertainty regarding her mother's reaction to Marco's crimes. Clarissa had always been unpredictable, ruthless to outsiders, yet strangely indulgent toward her own blood. She knew that if her mother handled the situation, Marco might be harshly scolded one moment and gently protected the next. It was a complicated dynamic of a mother who wielded power like a weapon, but still clung fiercely to her sons. However, Liberty had long since stopped expecting fairness from the Farrell family. She vowed not to destroy Marco in a way that would implicate her in illegal action, but she fully intended to make his life miserable. Catherine couldn't deny the truth. Despite being their sister, she held no illusions about the character of her brothers. From a woman's perspective, she found their past behavior shameful. Men who had strayed, lied, and caused suffering to their wives. It was only after tragedy struck and the death of Shiloh cast a long, sobering shadow that Noel and Sage had learned to treat their wives with more respect. With time, their marriages had healed, and their wives, Anya and Amora, had chosen forgiveness. Catherine accepted their decisions. People chose their roads, and they had to walk them to the end. Liberty reflected on the nature of men, especially those who could not be content with what they had. Catherine noticed Liberty studying her closely, and suddenly the attention shifted. Liberty pointed out the obvious. Catherine had a man by her side who was loyal, steady, and devoted. She should not overlook him. Catherine, flustered, brushed aside the idea. She couldn't think about marriage or the future while their lives were still entangled in family conflict and unanswered truths. Why? She wondered. Were there always so many disputes? Why couldn't people simply guard the small piece of life in front of them and live quietly? Liberty answered with a truth Catherine already knew deep down. Human desire was endless. Contentment was simple in theory, but difficult in practice. Catherine reflected on her own ambitions and, in a rare moment of honesty, admitted that she wanted more from life. The conversation shifted when Catherine suddenly asked about Liberty's recent discovery in Wilspoon. There had been rumors, whispers that Liberty's allies had tracked down her late aunt's old assistant, a man who held pieces of the truth Clarissa had buried decades ago. Liberty confirmed it carefully. The old man was alive, nearly a century old, and still clinging to life and memory. Catherine was stunned. After years of uncertainty, the truth seemed closer than ever. And the thought shook her. She immediately worried about his safety, knowing that if Clarissa found him first, the consequences would be deadly. Liberty reassured her that the old man was well protected by powerful people in Wiltspoon, and that Clarissa would not dare act recklessly there. Before they could continue, the room fell into a silence heavy enough to freeze time until Catherine's phone suddenly rang. The call brought unexpected news. Clarissa had just returned and was already at the airport. Catherine was caught off guard. Her mother always preferred striking when no one was prepared. This sudden return confirmed that Clarissa had failed to find the old assistant and had come back empty handed. She remained calm. Whether she reached home before or after her mother did not matter. She had been running the company nonstop and had every reason not to rush back. Even so, she knew she needed to leave soon. Pedro urged her to drive slowly, and Catherine agreed. After the call, She shared the news with Liberty, who merely noted that Clarissa had likely returned because she realized her tricks were useless. Catherine had not been fooled. Liberty prepared to leave, offering Catherine the chance to enjoy her evening with Pedro without an extra presence lingering between them. Catherine walked out of the meeting carrying a mix of emotions: relief that the old assistant was safe, concern about her mother's sudden return, and a quiet unspoken flutter at the thought of the man waiting for her.